be always aware of squares that are covered. Like in this case, b3 was covered by a piece. Okay, so he plays like this, a very modest setup. How should I continue? Maybe with c5. Let's go c5. Aha, he wanted this. He wanted me to capture and to go b4. Let's go back. And if c5, okay, let's do this. If he goes c5, I might go a5 to try to break. What about b6? Is it any good? We'll see. What about bishop a6 now? Or just capture and bishop a6? Let's try this. You see how I waited for him to play bishop e2. It is useful to do this. He lost one tempo on bishop e2 and he's just gonna capture in 2 moves on c4. Let's go bishop a6 to exchange this. Maybe it's not so good, but at least now I have good development. Knight d2. This looks sketchy because I have rook c2. Maybe it's not much, but I might get something. Let's go rook c2, attacking both bishop and the knight. He has to play bishop d4, I guess. And then I can go knight g4. Oh, sorry. No. That's bad. But he plays like this. I don't get it. Let's try this. And now I have 2 pieces for a rook. I just have a problem with this knight on a6. If I somehow involve him into the play, I should be okay. I should be winning. But until then, it's going to be a struggle. And this is what I don't like about this position. It has open files and the rooks can just dominate. What can I do here? I can take, but then potentially this d7 entry square is critical. If I go rook d5, that's also not good because he takes on f6, takes on d5 and rook c1, and he got the open file, which I don't like. But let's try something else. But what? Let's try this, maybe. And then knight d5. If e4, then I want to go knight c7 back and somehow to survive. Knight c7, rook d7, king f8, and somehow to hold it. And now I have to bring my king closer and closer. It just has to happen. And if I manage to cover rook's entry points, then I should be fine. Let's just go here. And if bishop e5, even king e8, sacrificing a pawn, I think that's reasonable sacrifice. But he plays g4. That's not good, I think. Let's just go g6 first. Not allowing any funny business. Let's go king e8. And now let's consolidate with maybe knight b5. And my idea is to just provoke a4. I want to do that because... he doesn't. Because I want to force him to push a4 and then b5 to get my knight to c5. But he doesn't do it. Let's just go here. Reroute my knight to c4. And let's see what he does here. Knight c4 looks okay. If bishop c1, then knight c7 maybe, or even b5. Knight c7 looks okay. And then b5 to put all the pawns on the light squares, and I think I have no issues. Also, after this, e5 might become a good option. And if white pushes a4, then he's weakening b4. It's better to just keep this structure like this, a3, b4. But I think he's gonna play for a4. That's what weaker players want to do. Yeah. I just play a6, I keep things solid, and you see how now his b4 pawn is weak. I provoked him and he couldn't resist. And now he's gonna lose his b4 pawn, after which this b pawn will become a huge problem for him. Can he break somehow on the king side? Yeah, he wants something on the king side, but that's not a huge issue for me. I can block everything with e5 and I could have just taken b4. Let's capture on b4. Bishop e3, okay. What about bishop d6? And then start pushing the pawn. Also, I could have taken on e3. I just have to remain solid on this side, so I don't allow any capturings. Bishop a7, king a7, get my king active, and if bishop b8, I can just... yeah, I can do this. And what to do now? He doesn't capture, okay, let's bring another piece, or just play like this. Oh, rhyme alert. b4, knight b5 next. getting the knight to d4 or c3. Let's pre-move fg, fg. Also, if he doesn't move his king, I can play b3 because of the fork on d2. Can I just play b3? Oh no, not now. Let's go knight b5 now, with knight d4. I didn't see bishop on e1, covers d2. So now I want to go knight d4 with b3, or b3 with knight d4. Let's try this. His rook is now helpless, he cannot deal with my pieces. And now he wants to enter with king g5, king f6. Let's just stop this. Force g5 or king going back to g3. Both scenarios are working for me. And now I can do, if I play h6, he has f6, so I don't want to allow. Why would I do that? Let's go b3. Now the b pawn starts rolling and it's simply impossible to stop it. Bishop c3. He wants to capture and capture my pawn. That's not good. Let's go for this. And now he takes my pawn. Okay, I have 3 pieces. That should be enough for a win. I mean, look at this. Yeah. I have one question for you. What will you play if he went for rook g3?